Right now, you are breathing. You weren't thinking about it a second ago. Now, you can't stop. Every breath has become a decision you have to make, a rhythm you have to hold, a thing you are suddenly, awkwardly in charge of. And some quiet part of you is already wondering when you'll be allowed to forget about it again. Welcome to manual breathing. It feels like a glitch, a small, irritating trick your own mind just played on you. But the real answer is far stranger, and it reaches back millions of years into the architecture of your skull. Because you do not have one breathing system, you have two. And the fact that you can read this sentence at all is the entire reason the second one exists. Most of the time, you breathe automatically. A small cluster of neurons buried deep in your brainstem fires in a steady rhythm, in and out, without ever once asking your permission. This region has a name. It's called the pre-Botzinger complex. It was identified in 1991 by a team led by the neuroscientist Jack Feldman at UCLA. And it is, in the most literal sense possible, the metronome of your life. It keeps the beat while you sleep. It keeps the beat while you eat, argue, daydream, and forget you even have lungs. Every single breath you took today, before this exact moment, you took, without choosing it. So why can you suddenly take over? Here is where it gets strange. Most animals cannot do what you just did. A dog cannot decide to hold its breath to make a point. A lizard cannot pause halfway through an inhale to whisper a secret. For most creatures, breathing is almost purely automatic, bolted to the brainstem, running on fixed rails it can never reach. But somewhere in your evolutionary story, breathing got promoted. It became something your conscious mind could reach down, grab, and steer. And the reason is sitting in your throat right now. It's your voice. Think about what speaking actually requires. To say even a single sentence, you have to control the air leaving your lungs with absurd precision. You hold the exhale back. You release it in measured bursts. You shape it into vowels and consonants and pauses. You sneak quick refills into the silent gaps between words. And you do all of it without ever thinking about it once. Automatic breathing simply cannot do this. Automatic breathing has one job and one steady rhythm. Speech demands something far more invasive. Speech demands a hijack. So your ancestors evolved a second pathway, a set of connections running from the higher, newer parts of your brain, the cortex, the region that plans and decides and imagines, reaching all the way down to the muscles that move your breath. Scientists who study this describe it as a kind of dual control. The brainstem holds the automatic rhythm underneath. The cortex can override it from above whenever it wants. And when the cortex grabs the wheel, you get exactly what you're feeling right now. Manual breathing. You are, in this precise moment, breathing with the same neural machinery you used to talk. Sit with what that means. The thing that feels like a malfunction is actually one of the most sophisticated features your species ever evolved. Some birds have a version of it for song. But the human ability to consciously sculpt raw breath into language is a huge part of what let your ancestors do something almost nothing else on earth could do. They could tell each other what was over the hill, what happened yesterday, what might be coming tomorrow. Picture them for a moment, a small band of humans 100,000 years ago, huddled in the dark. One of them leans in and lowers their voice. Quiet, steady, controlled. They are shaping their breath on purpose, and in doing so, they are passing on something invisible, a warning, a plan, a memory. None of it is possible without that second system, without the ability to take the breath off autopilot and bend it to a thought. How did a function as old and automatic as breathing ever get wired up to the newest parts of the brain? The answer seems to lie in the slow rewiring of the human throat and skull over evolutionary time. As your ancestors began to rely more and more on complex sound, the pathways linking the cortex to the breathing muscles strengthened. The voice didn't just borrow the breath, it rebuilt the relationship between thought and air. Over a vast stretch of time, the conscious brain earned a permanent seat at a table that in almost every other animal it never gets to sit at.